Hi everyone, it is Fitz with your daily delivery. Hope you're doing well. I am quite good, and today we're going to return our attention to what ails this Kansas State football team by taking a look at the running game. Because Kansas State can't run the ball with any kind of effectiveness right now. They're not making defenses have to account for anything coming out of the backfield. They keep an eye on Avery Johnson, and that's about it. They can do basic things to stop the rest of it. It's a mess, and let's try to figure out what's going on. Right after I remind you to subscribe to this YouTube channel. It's swell. That's my sales pitch. We appreciate all the support. Of course, hit the thumbs up. Those comments are fantastic for the algorithm, and we are sponsored by coldest.com. That is not the sound effect. That is actually my ice in there. They're amazing. Get one for your tailgates or whatever. They're fantastic. Life of Fitz gets you 10% off. K-State can't run the ball worth squat. That could be the entire daily delivery, and you'd agree with everything I said. But why? We've already looked at the offensive line, and this group's having troubles. And honestly, the coaches are shuffling the deck too much. Nobody can get used to playing with anyone. But if a guy can't do the job, if it's a guard incapable of pulling or anything else, get him off the field. And I don't care if they're a true freshman or a veteran senior. You've got to find guys that can do a better job than what's happening. But let's not throw the entire offensive line under the bus and say it's all their fault, because it's far from that. My colleague Jason Shear at the Arizona 24/7 site had a little quote, not really a quote, but he talked about one of the defensive players for those Wildcats, mentioning after the game that by formation, they knew basically every play K-State ran. Wrap your mind around that. No deception, no ability to switch things up and baffle the defense. They knew pretty much who was going to carry the ball and where. That's bad to the nth degree. So scheming is certainly an issue here. Poor play design, blocking schemes that these guys can't do. Maybe get back to basics and don't tip your hand before the snap. Something's gone wrong there. You need to look at all that. But also, the backs just aren't very good. We saw Dylan Edwards get his first carries. He only played 9 snaps at Arizona, and you could tell he made a difference. And then there's a drop-off. And K-State's been trying to play with that drop-off. Joe Jackson has struggled. We've seen Devon Rice come in. But it was an interesting allotment of snaps at Arizona. Okay, these are the snaps, not carries, snaps. J.B. Price, 19, Joe Jackson, 12, Antonio Martin Jr., 11, Dylan Edwards, 9, and Devon Rice, 1. It's from our staff. I can't vouch it's 100% accurate, but you get the idea. They were searching in the backfield. They were trying to find something that worked. And as of now, it's only Dylan Edwards. And his injury continues. He had to leave the game with that foot injury. We don't really know the nature of the foot injury, but if he can't come back from that injury, or, I'm going to be blunt, can't play hurt, because his hurt and injured are not the same thing, K-State's in big trouble. They have to come up with the solution here, the ability to run the ball, to produce yardage, to make a defense account for that so it can open up the back end for throwing the ball. They've got themselves in a horrible mess offensively. They have nothing established. They can establish nothing. And until you establish one, you can't do the other very well either. Lots to fix. This was just another thing on the long checklist that's facing Chris Kleiman and his staff before they take on UCF at the Bill. It's a morning game, by the way, in a few Saturdays. Also, one correction, there are 3 off weeks still ahead for this team. And they're going to play 3 here and then take a break. I need the off weeks. I'm happy. I don't know why I thought there was only 2 left. I knew there was 3 left because I want them.